Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out Cards Against Humanity. Now, just to give you a heads up, this game is definitely not for kids. This is an adult version of Apples to Apples. It's for ages 17 and up, with the average play time being between 30 and 90 minutes. It's ideal for large groups, though the minimum is 4. So yeah, Cards Against Humanity. For those of you that have never heard of Apples to Apples, basically what will happen in this game, players will take turns being the judge, a question will be asked, everyone will contribute an answer to that question anonymously, and the judge will go ahead and pick an answer, and whatever answer is chosen will end up scoring the point. If you've played Apples to Apples, you'll be very familiar with this. If you haven't, let's just go ahead and take a quick look at the components and show you how the game is played. Okay, so here's a very brief look at the components. You've got a box filled with white cards and black cards. There are more white cards than black cards. Black cards are like your question cards, while the white cards contain some type of noun, person, place, thing, usually vile, so that players can use these to answer these. At the very beginning, each player will receive 10 of these white cards to form their starting hand. Now, like I was saying, this game is very similar to Apples. Each player will take a turn being the judge. In this game, it's called the Card Czar. But anyway, let's just say that this player is the judge for the first round. So the judge will go ahead and flip over one of these black cards and read it off. And this card says, the class field trip was completely ruined by blank. Now, I filtered these ahead of time to avoid any awkward situations. So this player is going to go through their cards to see what kind of answer they want to contribute. This player is going to go through their hands, see what kind of card they want to contribute. This player over here is going to do the same thing. And each player will contribute one card face down, and then the judge is going to go ahead and mix these up so he can't tell which card came from who. So he's going to go ahead and now read off all of the cards to the group while rereading the question each time. Like, the class field trip was completely ruined by landmines, or the class field trip was completely ruined by $5 footlongs, or the class field trip was completely ruined by David Bowie flying in on a tiger made of lightning. So yeah, some of these are pretty funny. So now the judge, this guy here, is going to decide what card he likes the best. Let's say he likes the David Bowie answer, and the player that contributed that answer would end up scoring a point. This card can be kept by that player to keep track of their points if they want, or you can track it on a separate piece of paper, and all of the answers submitted go into a discard pile. Everyone then draws back up to 10 cards. Just to give you another example of how that all plays out, let's say that this player is now the new judge for the next round. The judge is going to go ahead and draw the next black card, read it off. When I am President of the United States, I will create the Department of Blank. So now each other player will contribute one of their cards. They'll look at their hand and decide which one they like the best. And then the judge will go ahead and take all the cards, shuffle them up so he can't tell who gave what answer. Then he'll read them off again. When I'm President of the United States, I will create the Department of Morgan Freeman's Voice, or the Department of Civilian Casualties, or the Department of Poopy Diapers. So let's just say that Morgan Freeman won, and that person that chose that answer will end up scoring the point. All these cards are discarded, and everyone draws back up to 10 cards again. Okay, now there are a few rules in the manual I just want to quickly show you. Gambling, for example. If a black card is played and you have more than one white card that you think could win, you can bet one of your awesome points, which are one of these black cards, or one of your points on your separate score pad, to play an additional white card. If you win, you keep your point. If you lose, whoever won the round gets the point you wagered. There's also some house rules in here that make the game a little bit more interesting. Rebooting the universe, for example. At any time, players may trade in an awesome point to return as many white cards as they'd like to the deck and draw back up to 10. You've also got Rando Cardician here. Every round, pick one random white card from the pile and place it into play. This card belongs to an imaginary player named Rando Cardician. And if he wins the game, all players go home in a state of everlasting shame. This is a great way to add more cards to the game if you don't have a lot of people playing. If you only have 4 people playing, for example, you can add an extra card to the mix to make things a little bit more interesting and to sort of, add more cards to what would be a pretty sparse turn. So yeah, there's some other ones here. I'm not going to read them off to you because some of them, might offend. So yeah, that's basically Cards Against Humanity. Alright, and there you have it, a very brief look at Cards Against Humanity. Again, it's important to stress I didn't cover all of the rules in the manual, but this should give you the general idea. Apples to apples, but an adult version of it. Again, this game is not for kids. I need to stress that. And if you're easily offended, this game is definitely not for you. This is ideal for people with a sick sense of humor. It even says it right on the box. A party game for horrible people. If you are a horrible person, then I think you'll like Cards Against Humanity. If you want to see my full review, you can. www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.